Hello, I'm John Scott, director and founder of Irish Modern Dance Theatre and curator of Dancer from the Dance Festival of Irish Choreography. This is the third edition of Dancer from the Dance Festival. Our first performance was in New York in 2019 in the 92nd Street Y in partnership with the Irish Arts Centre. We're delighted to be in the third edition, and we're very grateful to our sponsors and partners, the Arts Council of Ireland, Dublin City Council, Project Arts Centre, Dance Ireland, Dance Limerick, the Irish Arts Centre, Centre Culturel Irlandais, and Smock Alley Theatre. I'm very excited that this is the first time we are introducing a platform showing for emerging choreographers and works in progress. Thank you and enjoy the performance. We really appreciate you supporting tonight's performance. If you would like to consider making a donation, we're going to show a QR code which you can access with your smartphone and make a donation to support the work of the artists for Dancer from the Dance Festival. Alternately, you can make a donation by going to irishmoderndancetheatre.com and clicking the donate button. Thank you so much.
Olá, my name is Alessandra. I'm from Brazil. I was born in Salvador, Bahia, the blackest city in Brazil. I have a really strong connection with Afro-Brazilian dance and African roots. Dance itself, it's inside me, so I could be in China, in Africa, in Ireland. Doesn't really matter where, dance would be always inside me.
Hi, my name is Aphra Hartmann. I am 24 years old and I'm a dance artist currently based in Dublin. My piece is called State of Opposition, and it was created in partnership with the Noise Moves Emergence programme directed by Carlo Facio. This work explores identity and gender, portraying an inner conflict of femininity and masculinity and finding one's own unique balance. For this work, I intended to choreograph something that would really represent this duality of identity. It wrestles with the need to conform to one particular identity and how this conforming is not always necessary. In the end, it is realised that a balance can be found and that people can truly be multifaceted beings.
Hi, my name is Cristian Enmanuel Dirocie. I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic. I've been based in Dublin, Ireland for the last 7 years. I started breakdancing in a park close from home back in the Dominican Republic when I was 17 years old. At 17, I started with breaking, which was mostly influenced by wrestling. A wrestler, which was a b-boy, I used to always watch, and he inspired me to just learn a few moves. I watched a couple of movies, met a few friends that introduced me to the hip-hop culture, and since I got involved in the hip-hop culture, everything in my life just changed completely. I learned how to translate my feelings, emotions, happiness, pain, joy, anything I feel into my movement, whether it's breaking, crump, contemporary. I learned from the Irish culture a lot, and I grew a lot as a person, especially in my art. I got to meet people from mostly all around the world, from Ireland, Poland, USA, Nigeria, everywhere, just here in this magical land. And the thing that I enjoy the most is connecting with people and dancing with people, whether it's in the streets or in the studio. I love connecting and creating. Through dance, you can understand and really get to know someone in a way deeper level than you could with words. Dancing is just, there is so much, and it just keeps blowing my mind every time. I've been doing it for the last 8 years, and it's still as exciting as day one. And I think I will just keep doing this until I cannot move anymore. But yeah, I love dancing. That's what I love the most, connecting with people, creating with people in the same room. Lately, because of lockdown, it's been quite hard to get that feeling. But every time I have it, every time I get to be around people, I really appreciate it. I'm feeling so grateful to be able to keep on dancing, because dance is life, and that's how I like to express myself, through movement. whatever it is through dance, we can definitely change the world. That's what I believe.
My name is Eileen McClory. I am a dance maker based in Belfast. I am currently developing Epilogue, A Dancer Dies Twice, with commission and production support from Maiden Voyage Dance Company. This follows a period of initial research on the idea in 2020, supported by an individual artist award from the Arts Council of Northern Ireland. Taken from the famous Martha Graham quote, "A dancer dies twice, once when they stop dancing, and this first death is the more painful." The piece is a brutally honest reflection of the human cost of what the dance took from and gave to two exquisite and previously retired professional dancers now in their 60s, Jane Mooney and Sandy Cuthbert. The piece has been made in close collaboration with Jane and Sandy, along with video artist and filmmaker Conan McIver and poet Maria McManus. Epilogue, A Dancer Dies Twice, considers the wonder of the lived-in body, with the grace and wisdom held within tendons and bones that can accomplish more with less. In an industry obsessed with youth and careers coming to an end when bodies become less able, it is the ability to be still, to shift space and time through sheer presence, experience and craft that I find the most compelling. Mature dancers are like magicians of stagecraft. What do they show? What do they hide? And what do they leave behind? Epilogue, A Dancer Dies Twice will premiere at the Belfast International Arts Festival in October as an outdoor projection mapped event. Keep an eye out on maidenvoyagedance.com for more details to be announced later this summer. And here is a little clip of the film in development. Enjoy.
All first steps, and each since, are lived twice, reflected in a mirror white with light and scrutiny. The dance asked questions, demanded answers, cast me in my own stubborn shadow, a living note finding its voice in the instrument of my body. I am a marionette, cut loose, severed and expelled out of enchantment, out of charm. And only then, when the last thread is broken, do I feel pain, see the blood upon my shoes, become earthbound. I did not see the end, that I would be bruised, weaker, broken, laid bare. I thought I'd be a strong and blossoming thing forever. I gave my all, and it was necessary. I didn't choose the dance. The dance chose me.
If you would like to consider making a donation, we're going to show a QR code which you can access with your smartphone and make a donation to support the work of the artists for Dancer from the Dance Festival. Alternatively, you can make a donation by going to irishmoderndancetheatre.com and clicking the donate button. Thank you so much.
My name is Eoin of Fíannachta. I'm from Cork City. I'm 22 and I'm a choreographer. So I started doing ballet in school, just kind of creative movement stuff like lots of kids, skipping ropes and teddy bears. And I kept doing ballet. I really wanted to go into the dance world as a choreographer. I was really inspired at a young age by Hans van Manen and Marius Petipa, William Forsyth. So I was really lucky to be around that, and I kind of left dance for a while because it was a bit too much for me, but I'm back now and I'm actually going to start studying choreography in London this September. So yeah, this is a nice debut. So Ochris, my piece, was made for the Emergence Young Choreographers program for the Noise Moves Youth Dance Festival run by Carla Fazio. And John saw me there and he invited me to take part in this festival. So this is its professional debut now. It's my first piece, and it was developed by a process of improvisation and kind of mining into my own journal entries. At the start of lockdown, I had kind of a depressive crisis like all of us did, but I decided to try and make something out of it. And this is kind of the result of that.
Hello, my name is Mufutau Yusuf. I'm a Nigerian Irish dancer and maker. And what you're going to see is an excerpt of a work in progress solo titled Away. And this solo is inspired by a collection of Nigerian Yoruba proverbs, using them as archival references to the past, my own past and my ancestral past. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.
Remember for now is when I was nǹkan kan tí mo rántí nípa bàbá mi ni pé oríṣiríṣi nǹkan ló rántí lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó wà ṣe fún mi tí mo lè rántí láti sọ́ọ̀sì ìgbà tí mo wà ní primary school náà. Bàbá mi máa fi ṣíà fún àwọn tó bá fẹ́ ṣe ìlànà tó bá fẹ́ ṣe lẹ́nu ceremony wedding wọ́n fẹ́ ṣe wedding tí wọ́n bá ti ṣe wọ́n láti ṣe àlọ́wọ́ àwọn ní ṣíà tásà so wọ́n lè tún máa ń ta páànù àwọn kọlu ẹ̀ẹ́dẹ̀ kọ́lé ọmọ àǹtà fẹ́ẹ́lì sí àtúntà fáwọn tí ó bá nídìí àwọn ìtàbíṣẹ́ so strong, so
My name is Fionnuala Doyle-Wade and I'm a dance artist based in Galway City. Originally from Seattle, I trained in modern and ballet with Cornish College of the Arts in their pre-professional division. Since moving to Galway, I've had the opportunity to work with Galway Dance Project, Babbo Arts Festival for Children, Arch 8 in the Netherlands, Brew Theatre, and Genevieve Ryan Dance Academy. This past year, I took part in Emergence Young Choreographers mentorship program under the direction of Carla Fazio and with mentorship from John Scott, Lucia Kickham, and Jessie Keenan. For Emergence, I created the piece that you will see this evening entitled Trauma Lines. This piece explores my own experience with trauma and the cycles of generational trauma and shame.
She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today. Go back, no stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over, she wouldn't go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today. Go back, no, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over, she wouldn't go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today. Go back, no, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over, she wouldn't go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today. Go back, no, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over, she wouldn't go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today. Go back, no, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over. She wouldn't go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today. Go back, no, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over. She wouldn't go back. I decided it was over because tomorrow maybe it would be okay. I'll have to go down to it, and when I looked up, I said goodbye. I don't know why. I just wanted to go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today, go back. No, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over. She wouldn't go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today, go back, no, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over, she wouldn't go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today. Go back, no, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over, she wouldn't go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today. Go back, no, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over, she wouldn't go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today. Go back, no, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over, she wouldn't go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today. Go back, no, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over, she wouldn't go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today. Go back, no, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over. She wouldn't go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today. Go back, no, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over. She wouldn't go back. I decided it was over because tomorrow maybe it would be okay. I'll have to go down to it, and when I looked up, I said goodbye. I don't know why. I just wanted to go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today, go back. No, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over. She wouldn't go back. She decided it was over. Maybe tomorrow, maybe today, go back, no, stop. She looked up and said goodbye. It was over, she wouldn't go back.
Hi, from the Vintage Cocktail Club, my name is Raj, I'm a bartender here. And for today, for the Dance Festival, we're going to walk you through in Irish style fashion where we're pressed to have wild whiskey. So, get a mixing jar. This is a 40-20 jigger. We're going to start off with 10 mils of sugar syrup, which we make here at the Vintage Cocktail Club. 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. We're going to ice. Start off with 30 mils of whiskey. A couple of dashes of bitters. And then we're just going to stir. Again, we're doing this drink in 2 parts. 30 more mils of whiskey. Give it a little taste. You can use cubed ice. In the Vintage Cocktail Club we use block ice. Strain in. Garnish with a little orange zest. And a little cherry. And serve. So for the Dance Festival, that is Red Press 12, Irish Whiskey Old Fashioned, here at the Vintage Cocktail Club.
Hello, I'm John Scott, founder and director of Irish Modern Dance Theatre and curator of Dancer from the Dance Festival of Irish Choreography. You're very welcome to tonight's programme. This is a series of dances from Irish and Irish identifying choreographers who cross boundaries of ethnicity, dance practice and generation. Tonight's programme is performed as if in a theatrical presentation. I'm very happy to have so many different choreographers from different practices and backgrounds together in one programme connected by their sense of Irish identity. Following tonight's performance, I hope you can join us for a moderated talkback with the artists where they'll be able to speak a bit more about their work. Enjoy the show and thank you for watching. We really appreciate you supporting tonight's performance. If you would like to consider making a donation, we're going to show a QR code which you can access with your smartphone and make a donation to support the work of the artists for Dancer from the Dance Festival. Alternately, you can make a donation by going to irishmoderndancetheatre.com and clicking the donate button. Thank you so much.
You swing your corner lady. Then you swing your partner. On to the next and couple up forward, halfway around and scuff up the floor. Element left with your left hand. Give a right to your partner. And a right and left grand. Pull by. On to the next and couple up four. Halfway around and scuff up the floor. Meet your honey. Hiya, honey. And swing her around. Swing her till her foot makes a hole in the ground. On to the next and couple of four. Halfway around and it's fun, isn't it? I'm gonna get that pretty little girl. I'm gonna marry. I'm gonna marry that pretty little girl. John Bradbury, the devil was.
I'm coming. I'm coming now, okay? Close the door.
Daddy, let's play.
I said I'm coming. Just give me few minutes. I'm coming, alright?
Daddy,
I
let's
said
play.
I'm coming. Okay, you go. Alright. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Oh. Okay. Alright, you won that one. Okay.
Daddy, let's play animal race.
An animal race. Okay. So I'm guessing you're forced to touch the chair wings. Okay.
3, 2, 1, 1.
Okay. Alright, you won that one. Let's go. Alright.
Now we're doing which one?
Okay, so I'm gonna do elephant walks. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, last one, the bridge. Alright.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, I'm getting tired. Oh. Yeah. Yes. Yes, I won. All right.
Dad, you won. I challenge you to a dance battle.
For real?
Yeah.
Let's go. Who's gonna go first? Oh, where's that come from? Okay.
Daddy, let's play.
Absolutely, yes. Let's go.
Beyond the movies, Jessie. Oh. Look at.
Okay, sit down.
Look at Daddy. Daddy taping you. Oh, I dropped it. No. Ow. This is fabulous.
Curving the spine, right hand reaches the floor, curved over, touching my left knee, right foot in circles. What's happening now? Sort of like floating arms with little hops and hop and then I reach both arms up and then into a little crouch, kind of clearing the space in front of me with my hands, little circles, legs crossing over and over, kind of quite erratic. And then kind of airplane arms side to side to side to side to jump, and sort of a slowing down with the right arm up and the left arm at my chin, and then little roly-poly arms and down to the ground. Jump, chest out, down, curved over, little arms sort of like swimming slow from side to side and up straight again. Take a moment to pull everything out of my Slow curve the spine, arms reach down to the floor, up and then down again, little crawl through, and it is like a little curved spine, little kind of pixie moving around, roly-poly fists and arms, head, a little circle around him, little kind of paws, and little kind of like a sort of little witchy walk, and then crawling on the floor, and up and jump, and then we're and away down to the ground, hands on my back, little small gentle hops, just like floaty arms, and I'm down like little curved crawl, slow at first, and then little fast, and slow arms, expressive arms, and expressive little torso, arms overhead and down. And curving the spine and stamping the feet with the arms waving side to side, little hands on the waist, and stepping back, stepping forward, arms reaching up and up, a little sort of expressive step forward, on the tiptoes, arms out, belly sucked in, weight into the right hip, and curve the spine and up, shoulders high, on tiptoes, hops, little soft arms, drop down and pick up a scarf, and slow raise the left arm, then the right arm comes up, belly sucked in, holding arms out, waiting till I get properly dressed, and reaching that left leg forward and both arms up and out, sinking into the right hip, belly in, holding position, left finger spread wide, and now slowly step back, elbows up and down and ripple through the spine, up and circles, elbows come out the back like a little bat, or like a shiny, I have no idea, belly and chest are kind of leaning out, slow right arm raise, and the beads drip off it into a little crouch on the floor and up, bringing the fists into the armpits, reaching up with chest out.
This is fabulous.
If you would like to consider making a donation, we're going to show a QR code which you can access with your smartphone and make a donation to support the work of the artists for Dancer from the Dance Festival. Alternately, you can make a donation by going to irishmoderndancetheatre.com and clicking the donate button. Thank you so much.
Feeling connected. My friends. Choreography. Tugs. Freedom. What I miss. The little things.
Connection.
That's what I miss most.
My friends.
My family.
My family and friends. I really do miss them.
Love and loyalty. The inscription on the golden ring of Moira O'Malley. The ring that takes us on a journey like no other. From happiness to despair, uncertainty, loss and grief. The ring that creates dilemma and sacrifice. The ring that liberates her next generation and withstands the test of time. From the wind-swept valleys of Mayo to the lighted streets of New York. A vision for one young girl can only be realised through her Fionnuala.
te importa que te ame si tú no me quieres ya? El amor que ha pasado no se debe recordar. Fue la ilusión de tu vida un día lejano ya. Ayer presento el pasado, no me puedo conformar. ¿Qué te importa que te ame si tú no me quieres ya? El amor que ya pasado no se debe recordar. Fue la ilusión de tu vida un día lejano ya. Ayer presento el pasado, no me puedo conformar. Si las cosas que uno quiere se pudieran alcanzar, tú me quisieras lo mismo que 20 años atrás. Con qué tristeza miramos un amor que se nos va. Es un pedazo del alma que se arranca sin piedad. Si las cosas que uno quiere se pudieran alcanzar, tú me quisieras lo mismo que 20 años atrás. Con qué tristeza miramos un amor que se nos va. Es un pedazo del alma que se arranca sin piedad. Es un pedazo del alma que se arranca sin piedad.
Hi, from the Vintage Cocktail Club, my name is Rog, I'm a bartender here, and for today, for our Dance for Dance Festival, we're going to walk you through, in Irish style fashion, we're pressed to have whiskey. So, get a mixing jar. This is a 40-20 jigger. We're going to start off with 10 ml of sugar syrup, which we make here at the Vintage Cocktail Club. 2 parts sugar to 1 part water. We're going to ice. Start off with 30 ml of whiskey. A couple of dashes of bitters. And then we're just going to stir. Again, we're doing this drink in 2 parts. 30 more ml of whiskey. Give it a little taste. You can use cubed ice. In the Vintage Cocktail Club we use block ice. Strain in. Garnish with a little orange zest. And a little cherry. And serve. So for the Dance for Dance Festival, that is Red Press 12, Irish Whiskey Old Fashioned, here at the Vintage Cocktail Club.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for watching Gathering 3. I'm now, I'm having my whiskey sour like Roger just made. I don't have a cherry, but and I'm using small ice rather than block ice, but sláinte. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce our moderator, Laurie Uprichard, who is a great friend to Ireland. And Laurie, welcome. Laurie is going to moderate the talkback with all the choreographers. And here she is in New Orleans. And I hope the weather is good there, Laurie. Welcome.
Thanks so much, John. Thanks for inviting me to participate in your fabulous festivals. It is 31 degrees here, so we're cooking.
Oh,
but it's only 2:30 in the afternoon, so I'm still drinking coffee. Unfortunately, I wish.
Well, cheers.
Anyway, yes.
So I'm going to hand it over to you, Laurie, now, and I'll see you later when we all come back together. So thank you, Laurie.
Excellent. So we're going to give everybody about 5 minutes. It's going to be quick, but that will allow us to bring the whole group together at the end, which I think will be fun for everyone to have some conversation with each other. But we'll start with, we'll be going in show order. So we'll start with Kristyn Fontanella. Hey, Kristyn, come on in.
Hi, trying.
Okay, take fun.
There we go.
There you are. How are
Hello.
you?
Good, how are you?
Very well, thanks. That was great. I have to say, I could only think, and if you want to say anything else about the piece, please do, but how did you amazingly manage to get the weather to cooperate? I mean, I love the rhythms in the little puddles. That was so great. But yeah, talk a bit about how you just organized it and how you set it up, and was some of it improvised, or did you have it all planned out? Just, like that.
So this was a commissioned piece by Fíannachta Neil in Hope It Rains for Galway 2020. So there were other plans originally, kind of like most things in 2020. And this was supposed to be a promenade piece going down Shop Street in Galway with a musician, with a film crew, a director, all this. Then lockdown happened. So I acquired a lot of hats all at once. So through my YouTube searching and online shopping, I learned how to do everything pretty much myself. So started researching in puddles in my driveway in the bare feet at the beginning of summer. But 2020 summer was absolutely gorgeous. And I was actually praying for the rain to come. So I had to wait a little while. But then when it did come, the weather in Galway's, changes from minute to minute every season in 1 hour. So that's kind of reflects in the piece as well. It's, pouring down, and then all of a sudden serene quiet and the bells in the background. But yeah, so it changed so quickly that yes, a lot of the movement was improvised. Me in a wooded area near where I live in South Galway, meeting a lot of the neighbors, walking the dogs, and that's what I'm doing with bare feet in the puddle with all these cameras set up. So I filmed it myself. I did have Darker work with me one day, that we got a nice sweeping image, but that was one day. And then I handed everything over to a brilliant editor, Shane Vaughan, and he worked with me, and he just had a great sense of the sounds and how to layer them. And we, back and forth with Fíannachta as well. And that was the end product. So absolutely thrilled.
And do you see this as part of a longer work, or part of a longer research, or where's it going, if anywhere?
I don't know. I've never made a dance film before. That's my first.
Right.
I would highly recommend to have a team. But, I don't know. I mean, I loved it. I've gotten into cameras now. I've really gotten into more microphones, so possibly not out in the rain with those, and drone footage as well. So like, yeah, the technical side I'm very interested in. So that's going to go and work into my practice, which is between the traditional and the contemporary.
Right. Yeah, great. The sounds were beautiful, stunning. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so simple too, a raindrop, you know? It's beautiful.
Yeah, but we don't pay attention to them as often as we probably should, right?
True.
Yeah.
The simple things in life.
Right. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to go now to Nick Gareiss.
Hi, Lori.
Hey, Nick. How are you?
Nice to see you.
You as well. You as well. You're looking good.
Likewise. It's great to be with you and with such fine company. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, John. So I'm curious about the inspiration for the piece, which you said was a 1968 film, but is he instructing in the film, or is he narrating what he's doing in the way you are?
He's demonstrating. It's a dancer named Bascom Lamar Lunsford who took a camera crew around the mountains of Western North Carolina and the Appalachian region of what some people call the United States.
Yeah.
And he's swinging himself and kind of shouting out these cues. I think he assumed that the camera crew had never experienced the trauma of being in a square dance before. So he's kind of like, he's trying to demonstrate this before they go to where these traditions would be performed for the camera crew.
Interesting. And I guess the other thing that stood out for me, and I think you sort of reference it very subtly at the end, is how heteronormative these traditions were, dance and song. But you're not hitting us over the head with it. You're just kind of in passing.
Yeah,
Is that something you wanted to comment on, or?
Absolutely. I think when I started to think about those cues, you know, the directives that square dance callers, and it's not just limited to Appalachian dance, you know,
of course
it certainly happens in Ceilidh dancing in Scotland and Ireland. If you're doing the Walls of Limerick, or if you're doing the Canadian bar dance or the Virginia reel, there's always a well-intentioned person, authoritarian figure at the front of the room who shouts at the bodies in motion. And a lot of times, those calls smuggle in certain ideas about who can dance with who and for how long, who can touch whom, how many people can dance together. There is some movement towards a non-binary approach to these calls, or at least a non-heterosexual approach. Some people use larks and ravens, but that's still problematic, of course, because it's still only two people, right? And we know that many people share intimacy across many bodies and many relationships. So the piece has existed for a long time with, you know, I'm going to get that, which is a traditional song from the Appalachian region called John Brown's Dream. But the sort of reboot of the piece, when John asked me to film it, I was thinking this needs to continue to be opened, because not everybody feels on one side of a gender spectrum or another. There are folks who exist in the middle of this space. And to some extent, I think I exist in the middle of that space. I'm a sort of cis-ish or sissy person. So there has to be room for you know, hers and theys and thems and hims and everyone else in between.
Yeah, like Terry O'Connor would say, binary alert, watch out.
Yes. Yeah, anyone who says there's only two options is selling you something.
Right. So, but the title is Solo Square Dance. So literally, you are dancing alone and pretending that these partners are there. So it's an interesting juxtaposition on that level of contrasting. Yeah. Partner.
Thank you.
Not.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels like in some ways some of the gestures of the percussive footwork, which are from Appalachian flatfoot buck dance and clogging traditions, are little homages or head nods to my different teachers. And some of those teachers are no longer with us. In fact, this very week, a teacher of mine, Eileen Carson-Schatz, it's the anniversary of her passing 2 years ago. And she was the director of the Fiddle Puppets and Footwork's Percussive Dance Ensemble. So she would often say in performance, she would kind of like lean out into the audience and say like, it's fun, isn't it? Like sort of invoking a spirit of pleasure.
I love that line. Yeah.
I know. She was incredible. So yeah, so in that way, I am dancing alone, but I'm sort of trying to create a space where everybody is performing. And in the longer show, the hour-long show of the same name, I'm surrounded literally. It's in the round. It takes place in people's houses. And the hope of that performance is that it turns a soloistic, percussive dance piece into a sort of communitarian experience because it's fully lit. You can see everybody. And there's actually a noble call where someone comes up and does something in the middle of the space as well. I won't give it all away, Pitt.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a great post-pandemic tour to happen, the house tour. Yeah.
I would love that.
And I know you, of course, as an Irish dancer as well. So I assume you, maybe I shouldn't assume, but you connect these traditions and forms in various ways.
Yeah, my experience with percussive dance traditions, whether they be from what some folks call Canada or from the Appalachian region or from Ireland, has always kind of been in dialogue because I really grew up going to folk festivals in the 90s. My parents dragged us there because they liked camping. And yeah, so you could take a flat footing class at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then you could take a flamenco class at 11 o'clock. Yeah. And then you could take like a Irish step dancing class or Sean-Nós dancing class in the afternoon. So these things have always really been in conversation, even though I didn't actually ever go to Ireland until I was in my 20s. But I lived in a place, Michigan has this interesting cross section of a lot of folks from the Appalachian region who came north during the automotive boom, as well as people from Canada, and as well as an Irish American tradition, pockets of that in Detroit and Lansing.
Sure, because Detroit's just across the lake from Toronto or Ontario anyway. Yeah. Great. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Laurie.
See you in a bit. And now we have Tobi. Yeah. I hope we have Tobi. Maybe not. Okay.
Hello.
Is that you, Tobi, in spot breaking battles? Yay.
Hello. How are you,
And
Laurie?
that's Tovia.
That's Tovia.
Hello, Tovia.
Hi.
What a beautiful performance you guys made together. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It was between me and her, me and Tovia, and we had so much fun making that piece,
I have to say at the beginning, well, I love the way it went from how frustrated you both were to a complete acceptance at the end. But I love, Tovia, that you just sat down and screamed. It's like he was not paying attention to you. That wasn't fair.
It was literally, that's how we are in a sense, and for me, it's something that I literally became aware of working from home, and we just wanted to show that, and sometimes she would literally have to pull me off, so there was something there that we wanted to explore, and we enjoyed it. We literally enjoyed making that.
I'm guessing, Tovia, that you're training in the various dance forms, not just a little street dance, but maybe also some ballet or contemporary.
Did you hear what she said? She said you train. So let our viewers and let everybody knows what kind of dance do you do. So the first one.
We do breaking and hip hop and dancing.
And what else? You do?
Gymnastics and
I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah. She has. There's a few in there because me and a mom, you know, our mom is on the contemporary kind of side, and like the disco kind of it's called freestyle, and obviously I'm from the street dance side as well, and she's getting that richness of both, you know, all the time, you know.
And you got a mean backbend, I have to say.
Yeah, your backbend is good. Yeah. Yes, she does. She does. She's been practicing that, and she wanted to show that. You know, she wanted to show that, and all of that was she led our own dance form. Yeah, she says she held heads. Say it loud. Say it loud.
I done a headstand for 10 minutes.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And tell me about the duet. Did you choreograph that together? I loved the your unison was quite beautiful.
Yeah. So that was one of her pieces or series of like motifs or sets or routines that she's been practicing. So she's learning a lot of techniques and a lot of foundation in breakdancing and in other dance forms, and she's piecing them together, and I am helping her piece it together, and because I'm helping her piece it together, I am aware of that movement, so I can keep up. So all she has to do is she just has to do it, and I will keep up. I'm following, you know. So
does it change every time?
Say that again.
Does it change every time? A little bit.
Every time. That is fixed.
Okay.
That is fixed. But she has about 5 or 6 of those sets, that she's been training and putting a lot of technique into that. But no, it's not. It doesn't change. It's quite fixed. It's quite fixed.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, we'll see you later.
Yes.
Don't go away.
Say bye-bye.
And let's talk to Jessie. Hey,
what an act to follow.
I know. Don't worry.
So joyous.
So a study, does that mean it's still in progress, and how much more studying are you going to do, or is this the whole piece and that's the study that the result, I guess, is the question. Yeah,
it's a good question. It's a little bit of a kind of a little bit of both, because when I originally was thinking about this, kind of when John put the idea earlier on in the year, I wanted to do something that was kind of new, but it was during lockdown and I didn't have the energy or like the well of anything to dredge up new things. It wasn't a creative lockdown for me. But I really wanted to I wanted to do something where I was dancing in it, because I'm currently doing a lot of work where I'm choreographing on other people, and I kind of wanted to go back to my own body. And I just thought, okay, I'm going to work with what's around me, and what was around me at the time was this particular project that is it's kind of been in motion for about 2 years, and the lockdown has really hampered it. It's called Don't Anticipate the Ending, hilariously. Fortunately, we will be coming to actually show that work later this year. But one of the, I suppose, development methods that I used in the early research of that project, I called it "So What is Surfacing?"
And it came from I'm working with two collaborators, Dr. Zosia Kuksinska and Robbie Blake. So Zosia is an academic researcher and Robbie's a composer. And Zosia invited us in to respond to the archives of Brian Friel's, like kind of his creative process when he was writing Dancing at Lunasa. So we just had this amazing time kind of just being in the archives. And one of the things that struck me was the feeling of liveness, even though you're looking at something that is from like long ago and it's kind of like, you know, wrapped away preciously in this kind of archive, which is kind of hard to get into if you don't know the process. The reading of it just suddenly like opened up the artistic process of somebody, and I felt like I was in the middle of this thing that hadn't come together yet, and I thought that was such an exciting place. And Friel had a lot of like questions or kind of provocations to himself inside the kind of archival material, and every time I saw one of those I kind of got like brought almost into my own material, because I would think of questions that I would write myself. And one of the kind of things that he had was, so what is surfacing? And I just was like, it just struck me. And so then I recorded myself actually answering that question in relation to my own work. And I started to work with responding to the audio. So trying to create this like live feeling that I was excited by being in the archives. So this kind of technique then over kind of the last 2 years has kind of grown, and I've worked with 3 dancers, and this has become a film. But when I was thinking about making this piece, I thought I actually want to go back to that technique and that kind of development idea, but I want to bring it into my own archive, and I want to kind of go back into what's there and kind of use that as then scaffolding to go forward, rather than kind of always being out here. And so for this piece, I decided I was like, I also wanted to hold it lightly, and I wanted it to be joyous to do.
Yeah, it's interesting in contrast, or in up next, close next to Nick's work as well. But there's also this. People are using audio description now for dance, right? For accessibility purposes. And I was wondering if that was something that was in your mind, or whether it was just a technique to pin down, in a sense, what you were doing.
Interestingly, I actually didn't want to use my voice in it. I was like, oh, gross. But Robbie, who I was working with Robbie Blake, who I was working with for the sound, they were like, oh, actually, it's really interesting to see the two things sitting side by side. And when I got over listening to my own voice and I watched it, actually, what I liked about it was it's sort of like the layering of realities, because I'm describing, I suppose, a completely different thing, which is like a video of me as a small child dancing.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's like what we call like one of the classics when I'm about 6 and I'm dressing up, and I had this amazing yellow swimsuit, which I used to wear backwards because I thought that was where the frills needed to be. So it's like then I'm listening and responding to the audio with my adult body. And then like I'm obviously laughing during it because I'm watching this video, which is quite hilarious. So it was in a way, it was an accident that happened. I hadn't actually thought about it in that accessibility way. And actually it's really great to think about it like that. It just kind of fell, and then they sort of made sense, creating these two different realities together, where you're like, I say at some point you pick up a scarf and there's no obviously scarf in the space. So there's like a little...
And the kids, their voices at the beginning and the end, they're not clearly not in the park with you. So is it more like a memory, or?
They're from my home movies. They're me and my cousins, and I kind of just wanted to pluck these kind of moments from that period of time as well, when you're a kid and you're like so confident, and you're just like, yeah, look at me.
Right. Oh, great. Okay. Thank you. We'll bring you back, and then let's talk to Róisín.
Thanks a million. See you.
Yeah. Róisín, we're gonna pair you up with Jessie to talk about endings, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Sorry, I'm just struggling to get my video on here.
Okay, take your time. Don't panic.
There we go. Hi.
There you are. Hi.
How
So
are you?
thank you very much.
Thank you.
At the end, you will begin, or we will begin. Talk about, if you could, a little bit of the, I guess, the origin of this piece. Did it start from your feelings of missing family and friends, or did it start from wanting to make a solo and then filling in that backstory, whatever you want to call it, later?
Yeah, I definitely over lockdown got this obsession of seeing people and not seeing people, I suppose.
Sure.
I'm very unfortunate that my other half, he lives in another country, so we had such a long time not seeing each other, and also just like the people that are close to you, like even if they're down the road, they're not within your 5K or whatever. So I really started to get this like yearning or longing for something to restart again. I felt like we were coming to an ending, but like that ending was dragging on. It just makes me laugh after Jessie's. It was dragging on for so long, and I really wanted to start something new, and this solo gave me that lease to start something new until we could get to the point that we could in life. And I think maybe it was a bit of like self-therapy, it got me through all of that time and all of those thoughts. And I was fortunate to be in residence in a few different places at the start of this year, so I had the time to sit with ideas and to sit with thoughts, and this is kind of what's come out of all those feelings, maybe from 14 months of a lockdown. And also like the anger, I think there's an element of I don't know if you can see it, but I definitely like had a bit of punch, and I think it comes from being angry over what's going on, but also knowing that it's happening and you have to deal with it as well.
Did you feel like you knew there would be an end, or not quite sure?
I didn't think there would be, actually. That's the first time I've seen it filmed, and it's a lot more anger in it than I thought there was when I did it. That's quite a nice thing to see, which it's good to see. I read a lot of works, but there's a poem I read by Billy Collins, which is called Afterlife, and he speaks in this poem about these two sides. There's this like celestial choir who are kind of like the angels, and then the people who have been left behind who have this anger or this grit about them. And I think I really took that part of that poem, and that's kind of was the inspiration for the beginning, up close to the camera as well. So that whole beginning is to the poem. I could say the poem as I do it. I did that a lot.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so like to create the movement, I use that a lot for the beginning, and it really helped me get into the character as well of this person kind of going through their memories as well.
It's such a gestural language, and I did wonder if there was something you were reflecting, whether it was a text or a song or something, in terms of that gesture and where that came from. All those gestures, really.
Exactly. It's just the text of the poem in my own movement language, basically. And I wanted to really play with this, like having this camera. I was like, oh well, I'm gonna try and not just be away, but also to be in and to be with people. And we often don't look down it, like as if it's a person, we look them straight in the eye, but we don't do that with camera. So I also enjoyed playing with that, like really forcing myself to spot down the lens was a good challenge as well in that movement.
Did you have a camera person?
Yeah, so I'm fortunate my other half, he was actually with me, and he's a dancer but also a filmmaker. So we actually practiced it many a times with the camera to keep everything in frame. And then Luca Traffarelli, he filmed it for me in the visual and Carlos. They gave us the space, which was amazing. So yeah, that's how I managed to keep it all in frame eventually.
Because that's tough. Yeah. Beautiful space too. Oh,
Yeah,
goodness.
it's amazing. Their galleries have really high ceilings and a beautiful space. So I'm really grateful for that space from the visual and Carlo. It's been wonderful.
Well, great. Thank you. And we'll see you in a bit.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ciara.
Good evening.
Hi.
How
there
are
you
we?
are.
Can you hear me?
I can. You're on a camera?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
I am on camera. Can you see me?
I
Hopefully you
can. You're just quite narrow.
I'm ever so sorry. Let's
Oh,
try and
it's
turn it sideways.
Ah,
There we
there.
go.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. Welcome. So I'm going to ask about the quotation about love and loyalty, and also what Fáinne or actually means, because I don't speak Irish.
I do very little and very poorly. I was born and bred in the UK. I live in Ireland now. I've been here for the past 8 years. Fíannachta means the golden ring. This piece was taken from a stage production that I was so excited about. And, you know, we'd just taken it to Broadway and it was finding its feet and the world turned upside down. It's female heavy. I met the composer. There's 2 of us. Females in the creative team, and she said, I'd love a show from an Irish dancing choreographer that's not really Irish dance. And I thought, why have you called me? So I found it just this wonderful challenge. And, you know, it got me through lockdown in some ways. And in some ways it frustrated me. And I asked all those questions as to whether, you know, people would ever see this work that we'd spent 3 years of our lives putting together. And you know, in that time from inception to stage and then development, whilst it's touring and when it's going out and when it's back in rehearsals, every part, every fiber of your being is just willing more work for the dancers, obviously, and for more people to see what you've poured your heart and soul into. So obviously when I was asked to be a part of this festival, I thought, right, this is an opportunity to showcase it in a new light. However, kind of off the back of what Róisín was saying, the end is near, I couldn't find the amount of dancers that I needed to and bring them all together, because suddenly the world's opening back up and everyone was being pulled in all different directions. So while that's so wonderful, for a year, I've had them at my disposal for Zoom workshops, and we've been developing material. We even managed at Easter to record a workshop version and get everyone together. And then all of a sudden, everyone was busy. So it's an adaptation of many different steps, of many different sequences in all the different numbers in the show. And the music is the actual overture. So it's kind of fresh and new, but it's still showcasing the best of what the show has to offer.
I see. So it's not a particular excerpt from A to Z. It's cut up from different parts of it. That's interesting.
Yes,
that's good to know. Just because I wouldn't expect that. It looked pretty seamless.
I'm so lucky to have. That's the choreographer, the assistant to the choreographer, Caoimhe Ennis and Shannon Burke were dancing, and she's my dance captain, and they are just the most beautiful dancers.
And a beautiful location as well.
That's another thing. Of course, I was pulled in a different direction with work. I actually wasn't able to be there the day of the shoot. As I was under contract, and I was tied to something else, and that contract then got extended. So we lost the day, we lost the date, and we lost the location. So then we ended up in Phoenix Park, and I think it turned out absolutely beautiful.
Lovely, absolutely lovely. So what's the future of the show now?
The future of the show? Well, I wish I had a straightforward answer for that. We are still in talks with many different investors. I do believe that it does have a future. It's Irish dance, you know, as we've never seen before. The entire show is barefoot. It's very heavy female cast. You know, Irish dance professionally still in its infancy. And the productions that I've worked on, I've been so lucky to work on, are quite heavy male driven. So a male possibly most of the time carries the show on its shoulders. So turn that on its head. We've completely disregarded that hard shoe element, and that's tough to do over 2 hours. We've added in far more acting than possibly what worldwide audiences are used to seeing from Irish dancers. And I've just made sure to answer that question. We're not dead from the waist up. Irish dancers can do so much more. So that was all in my mind. And yeah, I really do believe that it has legs, and I do believe it will go out again. And I'm just fingers crossed we get the tours that we so desperately hope for our cast. Wonderfully talented cast.
Okay, well, let's all think very good and positive thoughts.
Positive thought.
Yeah. All right, we'll see you in a bit.
Thank you.
Thank you. Justine.
Oh, I had a moment, Laurie.
Don't we all?
The host, the video, the host. I'm here. Nice to see you.
You can never find your mute button when you really need to. I know.
No, I had a start video, the host.
Yeah.
It was like the host. But I'm here.
So thank you for your work. You were born or grew up somewhere in the Caribbean, is that right?
Yes, I was. I was born in the Caribbean. I was actually born in Barbados, but my first real memories are of Cuba. So my dad was working in Cuba, and my brother was born there. So I arrived when I was 5 years old, and those are my very first memories. Other memories previous to that, because I think when I was 4, I came back to the UK for 3 or 4 months, but they're just memories from photographs. But yeah, my first real memories are in Havana.
And the music, that song, is that Cuban song? Or?
Oh, yes, it's iconic. A wonderful artist, Maria. I'm having a moment. Maria Teresa Vera, and it's trova. So basically, traveling minstrel. It was a form of music afterwards. I just remember it as a child. So researching it, it was 19th century driven, and it's traveling musicians with guitars. But she was a female musician, and actually the story written, the lyrics were written by a close childhood friend of hers, and who had her heart broken. So it's unrequited love, but asked to be anonymous. And it was only afterwards, many years afterwards, that her childhood friend was credited for the lyrics that were written. So I did officially find permission, so publishing, and a wonderful recording by Azevedo, 2019. So yeah, when I researched the song, I had no idea that it wasn't Maria that actually wrote the lyrics. It was her childhood friend that got ditched by her husband.
And oh my God, there's so many questions. A Piece of My Heart. Now that reminds me of Janis Joplin, of course, but I don't speak fluently, but I did catch a little bit of Remember, something about remember and souls, and
yeah,
I wondered if there's something really special about the simplicity of the movement and just making those box steps and then the turns and the patterns of it. And I wondered if how much you were thinking of the word memory and how much you were thinking of remembering and or forgetting in that choice.
Both, absolutely both. What I found really interesting, it first began with Dublin Youth Dance Company without the song. and then a residency that followed in 2019 with 12 artists that you know well. And it's actually both. It's the presence in the moment to me, and that's what I found interesting about introducing Magritte's painting, The Human Condition, which was the second of his series in 1935, the painting within the painting. So the simple stepping to me is the forgetting is when the bodies get obscured, you know, and the different relationships. And also what interested me is, depending on the angle, of course, it's a frontal view and Luca was there and it was wonderful to be in such a beautiful space. But depending on where you look at the piece, all the women could be stepping front, they could be stepping side, they could be stepping back. There's a community. It's just a different way of perceiving, you know, and I loved the way the depth that sometimes they're obscured. When I first worked on the idea, I actually set every single moment. But in this rendition, we had little time. It was wonderful, 2 days, beautiful days. And I realized I just had to let go. And so it's structured improvisation. So the take that we enjoyed tonight was take 8. And it was the one that called out the strongest to me. But I still see we were in the complex, the 8 versions that we took. So the choices that women are taking are their own. So it's quite free.
Including entrances and exits.
No, the entrances and exits are set, but their choice. And there were moments they got very comfortable and I'd say, oh, I need you, can you just go over, because everyone got, well, it was 2 days, Laurie, but people got comfortable in their spaces. You know, and so then my job was to be the catalyst and say, to break that pattern, because even though it was structured improvisation, people got comfortable within the space that they inhabited. So I automatically knew that that was Millie's space, that was Emily's space, and Joanna loved being by the tree. And it was wonderful to work with Joanna. And I kept saying, Joanna, come forwards, come forwards. And she was so comfortable underneath the tree. So, and we did get her forwards for the moment of her stillness. And that was important to me. So that we had this idea of the sea, of the passing of time, but there were moments where they were still.
And did you choose the ending as a solo, or the solo as the ending, I guess I should say?
We were still making when we got to the complex. And there was a different plan, to be honest. But that's what I love about making work. So quickly we changed the plan. And Kama is a member of the senior company of Marianne's and the Dublin Youth Dance Company that I had the opportunity of working with when she was younger for the junior company. And I did go up to Kama and I said, we've got to change the plan. And I see a solo now. Are you comfortable? I'm throwing you in the deep end. Would you do your material 2 times? And it was like 5 minutes. And she said yes. And every time the music stops and I see her in that space, in that moment, in the silence. And Becky, the other ladies had gone to rest in the dressing room area. And Becky turned around to me and I'll never forget, we were masked. She just touched my arm and she said, yep, that's the right thing to do. So we were still making as it was being filmed and Luca was patient. And it was, actually it was rock and roll, I'll be honest with you. It was as far as
it's like you're seeing the future in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, when I look back at it, because I had different takes, there was so much more meaning. Maybe I shouldn't be saying, yes, I intended every moment, Laurie, I had a plan, but no, afterwards I saw it. And I had, I don't know if you've had, but during lockdown, we've had much more time. I've been going through things. I've been looking through photographs. There's a lot of personal stories. I didn't go in there intending to make a personal story, but afterwards when I saw it, I got goosebumps. And I shared a couple of private photographs, and yeah, I didn't intend to make the piece that way, but subconsciously, yeah,
Yeah, but it's quite abstracted. I don't think,
But I do think that if we're looking at nostalgia, that we've had a lot more time off, and we've had time to think about the past. And I don't know if you have, but I have, within tasks that I haven't had to do, or boxes I haven't had time to empty. In the last 18 months, I've done a lot of the things that I pushed, and I faced a couple of things. I've gone through books, I've gone through letters, I've gone through photographs, and so perhaps that also led me to, like, the original idea was something much more abstract, but then the piece is kind of turned into something that is perhaps a bit more personal than I expected it to be.
All right, well, thank you for sharing that. We're going to speak to Anne, and then you'll all be together. Thanks, Jessie. Hey, Anne.
Hello there, Laurie. Nice to meet you.
You as well. So we started with water, we end with water. There's water everywhere in this gathering, and love that. And oh my God, the release of you running into the sea is just...
I have to have myself running into the water. That's what it's all about.
That's great. It's just like the perfect ending. And hopefully cathartic for all of us and all of you, getting through this year and a half or whatever, it's been 15 months. But how did you decide, and how long did it take you to work on this to figure out, I mean, the sand cannot be a very friendly surface on which to do your dancing.
Well, there's a bit of give in sand, it wasn't that soft, but I prefer that than a dance studio. Give me the sand any day.
Really?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was liberating, rolling around in the sand and dancing on it was great.
Good.
Yeah.
So you're a regular in that location, I take it?
Yeah, it's a place called Fíannachta. It's a little fishing village just outside where I live, outside the town where I live. And it's my newly found sense of place, really. It's, I suppose, what I like to describe it as my pause, reset and begin again place, because getting into the water there, especially in Fíannachta, because it's just so swim friendly. There's some beautiful swims there with lighthouses. There's a lighthouse out there, and it's very picturesque with the mountains behind. It's so tranquil and peaceful and just calming, just to be there, even before you get into the water. But no matter how low my mood is or how low the energy is, I always come out of the water refreshed and recharged. It's just that, that cold water immersion that snaps you out of your head and into your body. And you're in that moment there and then. And that's something, I suppose, that I'm being more aware of, I suppose, really, because just be in the moment and enjoy that moment and forget about what the list of things that you have to do and your cares and your worries. They'll be there. Just, be in the moment and try and reconnect with oneself.
Wow. And I guess I'm curious if you choreographed and or rehearsed prior to working on the sand in a studio, or did you make the whole thing on the sand, on the surface of the sand?
Well, I suppose it would have been being at that beach all the time. I'm well used to the tides in and the tides out, so I know when the right time, when the ground would be at the right kind of solidification. But I did devise it in the studio in the theatre where I worked in Chinsatier in Tralee.
Great.
Yeah.
And were there ever people on the beach? I mean, what time of day?
Oh, there was plenty of them. Yeah. My friend and colleague Gareiss, she was helping me film it, and we had fun, keeping it within the frame. Shoes and bags and water bottles were used. and jellyfish were also there. And there was this one particular gent, he was walking his dog, and he was going straight through where I was filming, in between the camera and myself. It didn't bother him at all. Beaches for everyone. And Joanne whispered to him, and hey, we're just filming. Oh, for the Oscars, is it? He says, you know. So that gives you an idea of the clientele in Fíannachta, County Kerry.
And how was the dog?
How was the dog? I didn't ask him now, Laurie.
I thought you might come up and try to get in the shot.
No, in fact, no, he had more sense. He just continued to walk along the beach. Happy to be there.
And are you thinking that this might be a longer piece at some point, or be
No, yeah, I'm quite happy with the piece, the way it worked out. It was really, I suppose, it's a celebration of the sea, and, you know, I suppose how the sea has drawn me in and inspired me to make this piece. And, it, you know, I suppose this had to be a piece that was no longer than 7 minutes, and that suited me, you know. So, it said what I wanted it to say, that, you know, that the sea connects us all. And it's there for everyone. It's free, it's healthy, it's good for your mind, it's good for your body. And, you know, if someone watches the piece and decides, you know, they want to go to the beach or to look at the sea or even dip their toes in, I'd be happy with that. I'd be very pleased with that.
Well, your love of it or for it is really comes through, which is terrific.
Thank you, Laurie.
So I guess if we can have everyone, and I don't know if John, if you want to join us, you're welcome. If you do.
Certainly do. It's great to see everyone.
Yeah.
Because the weird thing about the festival in this format is we're all disembodied and we're all separated.
Mm-hmm.
And the first year everyone was in the dressing room. It was kind of, okay, let's go. And they were in the room. And now are they going to get connected? Is the Wi-Fi going to be a problem? And time zones. So you just never know what's going to happen. It's really interesting. And it's great to see you all here.
John, you were talking yesterday with Yoshiko. And I thought this question that came up was really interesting, and I was hoping to throw it out into this group as well. You had a note about the urgency to create during this time. But what I loved about all of your work really is the joy in it. You know, clearly there's you're really finding an ability to be not just creative, but also happy. And that's pretty exciting given what we all have been through. So I wanted just to ask y'all about the question of urgency versus the question of joy. Who wants to go first? Justine.
I'm off mute. I'm not mute. I think it's about presence. I think if we're looking at joy and sadness or love and loss, we keep waking up every morning. So there's an element where we have to make space for collective grieving, but it's not just about, it's about finding something that the little miracles, the little aspects of joy, be it connection with other human beings, be it a beautiful glass of fresh orange juice in the morning, be it a walk, be it the rain. I don't want to say things like positivity and we have to look forwards post-pandemic and everything is going to be fine. I just think the elements of joy have to be sort of pedestrian. That we just have to make sure that we just appreciate those moments. Perhaps that's what keeps me going. But there's times where I don't want to get out of bed as well. So, but it's the little elements, little miracles of joy. So not joy in the aspect of everything is wonderful, but just those little accidental moments of joy. That's my offering.
I know there's been all these sort of hairy moments making the work, and things like what Ciara was saying, things changed. And for Ciara's piece, Luca located the best place in the circumstances at that time in Stephen's Green. And then that moment when the swan went whoosh across, it was magic. And there was some, you know, junkies in the park. There were all this sort of stuff. I was hovering around to keep an eye on the equipment and the bags. And I know Justine had an adventure with the lights in making your piece. And they kind of, the pieces are happening. And even when we're trying to defy the pandemic and do things, there are other obstacles, but we deal with them, and that's what's kind of beautiful. And I just asked everyone to do whatever they wanted to do. A lot of people were wondering if it's an Irish festival, does it have to have an Irish theme, or does it have to have some overt special message, and or does the choreographer need to manifest some element of their Irishness or Irish identity, which was really fun with Yoshiko trying to get out of her.
But the 6-minute limit is also a really interesting thing, as you say. Everybody's got 6 minutes, right?
Yeah. And Luca Trufarelli, who really is almost like a co-artistic director of this whole thing, we choose what goes together in the program, what should follow what.
There was the water day, for sure.
Water, for one. And then I realized tonight there was something about Jessie's piece and the childlike nature. And then the next thing we see Tovaya and these other strange connections or beautiful coincidences. And it, I think also, like what I said last night to Yoshiko, we all in our art politics way have to apply for funding to make these pieces, and we write our
watch Tobi writing his
500 words and all of this, and we're making our 40-minute masterpiece. And for people to make a small gesture, and particularly when it's mostly, though not exclusively, the choreographer as dancer, there's something else very authentic in that and very beautiful. And I love this format. I love the feeling, and it is really a sort of a gathering and people sharing and the different things that people are presenting. I don't know, guys. I mean, we all had talks and everything, but you've done what you've made what you've made, and it's been something that you've all carried around in yourselves, and it's been the right moment to bring this out, and it's a gorgeous fit. Anyone else want to say anything? Tovaya, want to say anything?
Yeah, Róisín?
Yeah, I was just going to say quickly, like in relation to that urgency and joy, I feel like you often, I have found anyway over this past 14 months especially, you won't find anyone more positive than an artist. They seem to be able to find those elements of joy in things, maybe not more easily, but maybe there's like an appreciation there. And when there is this sense of urgency, like I can imagine Justine, when your lights didn't work, you know, in that moment you're like, oh well, right, we deal with this situation and we move on. And so I think this creates a real sense of joy in the same way Ciara out in the park. You know, you kind of surrender to it. You're like, oh well, if there's going to be any emotion here, it has to be joy, because otherwise, you know, everything could fall apart. But I think there's something special about creativity in people that brings out this element of joy, especially in those moments when things get urgent or rocky, just as an offering.
I think when a dance is made to be presented, particularly in a laptop or a tablet, it can be even more susceptible, and I think we're all aware of this as makers, to all of the cliches of dance and doom and tragedy and wallowing in things. That it's a terrible temptation when you're making a piece in a black box space, and maybe everyone carries that sense of kind of caution. And so what we choose to say in the films, I made one last year, and there was something kind of joyous and quirky. It was not intentionally so, but there was just something about being really real that that meant that the material would survive. If we were doing a dirge or a lament, it just wouldn't be the right place. And I think everyone would switch off. They'd just go back onto Instagram or something and not watch.
Yeah, Tobi has something to say.
Hi.
Hi.
Did you have fun making the film? You like dancing?
Yeah.
So she said she just wanted to say hi. Literally.
I was honored actually last year. Tovia and Tobi danced in a piece I made in Dance Limerick called Bloodlines, and Tovia had to lift her dad. She had to blow him across the stage and lift him, and she was terrific.
Wow.
And she never.
I was actually trying to not cry in the rehearsals because her intent was so she was so focused, and I said to Tobi, don't help her, you can only move if she blows hard enough on you that you move. And it was really mean in a way, because she was like practically asphyxiating and blowing, but there was something so beautiful about it. And she's terrific.
Yeah, and she hasn't forgot that moment, and I want to thank you for giving us that extra memory that we can attach or hold on to, especially in this where we find ourselves. But yeah, and for me, it's more so in for me, I suppose the approach that there's always a light in the tunnel, or there is always I won't even say hope, because you can sell hope and you can weaponize hope. But a more just letting things just pass through, and my body being like and my awareness and my body is just being I literally I am existing, like I am existing, and I'm deciding to live, not just to exist, and to grab onto the little moment of joy, even so when in the chaos I still happen to just stumble upon a moment of joy that elevates that chaos, even for a fraction of a split second. And I collect those moments like collecting stamps, or collecting like Pokemon cards. And yeah, and I hold them and I gather them, and I can kind of flick through them within my heart to yeah, it helps. It helps. It helps in a shape of a form, and then having a daughter or a child or whatever, they are not glued onto the chaosness that is happening. They're literally just experiencing the now and the moment, and I'm learning more and more. Yes, I have to be informed, but me being informed doesn't necessarily have to sift through. Yes, I'm informed, but I am not going to act out on that information. So I take it what I'm experiencing in the moment and in the now. And children really, they're really good at that. Like really, really good at that. Yeah.
Yeah, I also think I totally agree with that. But based on what following up what Róisín said about creative people and and being, you know, having that energy, but I also think the fact that you're all moving physically and that expression is something that's very special. You know, it really is about life, and that's, you know, what we feel when we watch you.
And yeah, I can't believe this is our third gathering, and that it's happened again. And I'm so proud of you all and grateful. Yeah, big love and big thank you.
Were there any comments or questions that we should pass along for anyone, or are we all set?
Speak now or forever be silent.
I didn't see any in the chat. I was just wondering if Kat was monitoring, or John, if you were looking.
Yeah, Catherine was monitoring the chat and feeding it in, and nobody asked any questions tonight. They were a very well-behaved audience, and people said beautiful and wonderful, and nobody asked any questions. But the response is really good and the viewership was really terrific. So well done again, everyone. And
yay!
Thank you, Laurie. Thank you for your wonderful session with Terry O'Connor on Monday, and then for tonight.
Yeah.
And you've truly been a great friend of Ireland and Irish choreographers, and it's great to have you with us. And tomorrow night we have two pieces. We have at 6 o'clock Irish time, we have a real treat. It's Tilt by Tara Brandel from Creedlawn Integrated Dance Company, with aerial dance music. It's a really gorgeous piece. It's a full-length work, and that's at 6. And it's about 40 minutes long. And then at 7:30 Irish time, we have Gathering 4, which is screen dance. And we have 8 more choreographers and some gorgeous dance films. They were made, the camera moves and there's close-ups, and they're dance films rather than films of dances like tonight. But we hope that everyone comes in tomorrow for our screen dance. And I want to thank Greta Burke, the company manager, and Leontine Lando in the office, and then Pierce Redmond, who's been streaming all of this, and Catherine Reller, who's the production director. So thank you, everyone. And also I wanted to thank once again Dance Limerick and Jenny Traynor for supporting the Limerick artists and supporting Tobi and Tovia in their creation, which was filmed in their gorgeous studio. And thank you, everyone. And good night, Ihawa. And once again, if you have whiskey sour or some sort of a beverage, sláinte. Good night. Thank you.